I know a lot of you guys get them styles and they be so tight, be having a style the whole time. You gotta look excited, just the whole time, just stuck. It shouldn't be that tight, bro. What's good, YouTube? tplocks here, bringing you guys another video. Yes, today you guys, we're going to talk about dreadlocks falling out. This is a terrible thing. If you guys are interested in that video, stay tuned. As usual, you guys, if you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button right now. We are just over 19K, you guys. 19K is crazy. At the beginning of the year, we were about at 1,000 or 1,200 to be exact. Now we're sitting at 19K. It's crazy. Our goal was only 10K at the beginning of the year, and now we're sitting at double that. So thank you guys for all your support. If you have hit that subscribe button already, definitely smash that notification bell to stay notified on all the posts the moment I post. All right, let's get it. To be honest with you, I have never ever dealt with this issue before. I have not had any locks fall out, thank you God. I wouldn't even say it's because I've been taking amazing care of my hair. It's just, I've just been very fortunate in this regard, all right? Or this is a question that I get almost every single day. Hey Trent, I did thing A, and as a result, my locks are falling out. Before we get too deep into how to fix it, let's talk about some of the ways this can be caused. Now, obviously, one of the more common ways this is gonna be caused is thinning, traction alopecia, over processing, things like dyeing your hair, or trying to get curly ends or doing dreadlock perms. Yes, that is a real thing. Even with doing things like over styling too much, over twisting, that's twisting too much, a bunch of different things that can cause your hair to thin. All right, particularly at the roots. The reason this type of thinning is very important to note is because as your hair gets older, as your hair gets longer, it tends to weigh more, and it just puts more and more stress on those roots. So if you're dealing with thin roots right now, it's definitely gonna be something you're gonna have to pay attention to make sure that you're not gonna be progressing in that wrong direction. Also, what can cause your dreadlocks to break off is simple dryness. We talk a lot of times about whether or not it's okay or it's not okay to condition your hair, or whether you need to moisturize your hair daily or not. Please understand, oftentimes in that very beginning stage, things like your sea salts, washing your hair and not putting any conditioners in it, things like not moisturizing, are actually gonna benefit your hair locking up. Why? Because in that tangling process, the drier oftentimes, the better as it pertains to getting that hair to tangle up. But when it comes to your hair strength, what you'll gain in your hair locking, you will compromise on the back end with that hair strength. It may not be something that harms you in the very beginning, but as your hair gets older, longer, and has a little bit more time in the game, you will start to notice those hairs are weak, those locks are weak, and they will break off. Absolutely. And the last one is just the weight. It's not something that happens very frequently, but your hair can get to a space where it is too heavy for your roots, especially if you got thicker sets of locks with thinner roots. This is why things like that part to lock ratio is very, very important. A professional loctician should know, okay, this person's hair with this size part is gonna swell up to this size, and as it continues to get older and longer, it's gonna age this way. Basically set you up so that you're not in a situation where your weight is gonna be the ultimate cause of your detriment. Now again, these aren't all the reasons, but these are some reasons that you should definitely start to consider and think about. One in particular that I want to call out is the not conditioning. A lot of times, you guys, we talk about whether or not it's important to moisturize, whether or not it's important to condition. I'm a firm believer that conditioning your locks or some great moisturization is extremely important. Why? For me, mainly because my locks are not the thickest locks in the world. They're just not. Conditioner and that moisturization is gonna add that strength to your hair. It's gonna make it more flexible, and it's gonna give it that ability to sustain a longer journey. If you're not conditioning your hair or moisturizing, being aggressive with those measures, you guys, breaking off locks is a real possibility. So I just wanna let you guys know, let's try to emphasize moisturization, whether it be daily, whether it be, weekly, however much you need, figure that out, because it's gonna be extremely important to maintain that success of your hair down the line. okay? Now, when it comes to ways to fix broken locks, there are a few ways, but the first thing I wanna let you guys know is I would not recommend you guys go out and just try to do this on your own. While there are a lot of DIY methods, there are a lot of YouTube tutorials that will show you how to do it, me personally, I would go to a professional. My wife maintains my hair, but even when it comes to repairing locks, I would make sure that I go to somebody that's an expert on this. That way that I'm not putting myself in an even more dire situation, okay? The first thing that you can do to repair your lock is simply crochet it. You can do this by crocheting the broken piece to the old piece. Usually that process entails you combing out a little bit of the hair, so it makes it a little bit easier for you to crochet back onto the broken off piece. Another method is to use crocheting with or extra added hair. You see this method utilized a lot when they want to reinforce or re-strengthen the hair to a certain extent. That way, when you reattach the lock, it'll have a little bit of added hair to sort of patch in that area that in all likelihood is probably thinned out from the damage, all right? That way it sort of reduces the possibility of you breaking your lock. Again, it's always great to have some reinforcements, especially if you've got, you know, a professional doing it for you. Another thing that you can do, if you notice you've got thinner roots, what I tend to do is rock Congos. I've got Congos. Those of you guys who have been following the channel know I've got Congos all throughout my hair. It's almost at least 30% of my locks are Congos. I haven't actually done the math and done the percentages or whatever, but a good portion of my locks are Congos. Maybe the part to lock ratio was off. Maybe I was over twisting. Maybe I was over dyeing. I did a little bit of everything. So I made my mistakes in the video here if you want to see all those mistakes. But essentially what I ended up having to do very early on, knowing that I was going to let my locks grow out, is combine a lot of them. I combine some in the front, the back, some towards the crown, etc., etc. And that's a great way to be a little bit preemptive, because again, you guys, if you're noticing early on in your journey that you've got thin roots, first and foremost, definitely want to make sure you find a professional to identify whether or not it's actually a thin root. And then from there, once you've identified all those things, you should be able to just combine them at the root and have a simple fix. There are other methods that you can utilize. There are methods that essentially entail you just tying the lock, knotting it back up together before it gets to the breaking point. But all of the additional methods that I've observed are prior to the breaking point, right? And they typically involve crocheting some sort of hair or additive so that your hair is reinforced and less likely to break down the near line. Ultimately, you guys, with all the methods out there to solve your locks, you're gonna wanna make sure you refine it to one that is specific to you. Everyone's lock situation is gonna be different. Some people have different hair textures, some people got different lock thickness, different parts, different situations that'll cause their hair to lock. Some things that you're gonna wanna make sure that you do is make sure you identify your hair porosity so that you can moisturize the condition. You're gonna wanna make sure you very thoroughly track your locks so that you know, okay, this lock is starting to get thin. I don't like that this lock is starting to get thin. What am I doing so that you can correct them? You're gonna wanna make sure that when it comes to styling, if it hurts, and if it hurts, especially if it hurts a lot, it's probably too tight, you guys. You shouldn't be feeling it like that. I know a lot of you guys get them styles and they be so tight, be having a style the whole time, you gotta look excited, just the whole time, just stuck. It shouldn't be that tight, bro. It should not be that tight. At the end of the day, you guys, if you have a broken lock, go to a professional, see a professional, see what they can do, see what's gonna work best, and from here on out, do the things to correct the situation. If you have a lock that's broken off, 9 times out of 10, the situation that created that for that one lock is probably gonna be replicated throughout the hair or in more than one spot. Just be on the lookout for that, you guys. Let's make better decisions, let's have better regimens. If you need videos for regimens, I've got them all up and down my YouTube for you guys to go check out. Definitely find a regiment that's best for you. Not all regiments are gonna be the same. Let's not have any more locks fall out. All right, again, you guys, hopefully this video helped. Hopefully it was very quick. I just wanted to give a little brief high-level overview of some things that you can do, some of the causes of your dreadlocks breaking. If you have any more questions, definitely leave them in the comment section, because that's what we're all here for as a community. I obviously didn't list off every single thing that could potentially cause a broken dreadlock or a thin dreadlock. But again, if there's anything that I missed, definitely leave it in the comment section so we can all as a community sort of figure it out and build. Thank you for your support. It's been tplocks, signing out.